Senator Warnock of Georgia is recognized.
Thank you so very much, Chair Brown. I don't believe that giant American corporations should get richer by selling their technologies to authoritarian regimes or human rights abusers. And that's why I was glad to see the Biden-Harris administration take steps in 2021 to further center human rights in U.S. foreign policy through the Export Controls and Human Rights Initiative, an effort aimed at curbing the misuse of American technology by repressive governments and regimes whose human rights record we rightly deplore. 25 nations have signed on to the initiative's code of conduct, leading to more of our allies considering human rights when reviewing their exports of technologies that can perpetuate human rights abuses. We don't want to make the trampling of human rights efficient. Ms. Kindler, can you highlight some successes from the Export Controls and Human Rights Initiative and how they contribute to efforts to combat authoritarian regimes?
Senator, thank you for this question. Human rights is front and center in how we consider export controls. The ECRI, as we know it, the Export Control and Human Rights Initiative, has been very helpful in bringing together countries that share values, even when they don't have export control systems of their own. And it's enabled a dialogue that is desperately needed for our national security and foreign policy. Just today, the Commerce Department released a proposed rule that's connected to ECRI. We're looking at foreign security end users in countries of concern, authoritarian countries, like you note, to ensure that U.S. U.S. persons are not supporting jail operators, foreign police, and that sort of thing. And that is a proposed rule. We're seeking industry comment, but it is connected to ECRI in the sense that it moves our human rights protections forward. We've also been very active at the Commerce Department in adding entities to our entity list, requiring specific licenses for companies and other organizations that may be involved in human rights abuses in contrary to U.S. national security and foreign policy.
So it's important in terms of the advancing of our own values and our commitment to human rights. But could you say more about why it's important that the United States of America lead in this space? My sense and core belief is that there is no replacement for American leadership in the world. It's indispensable. And can you say more about the geopolitical implications of us leading in this space?
U.S. technology is the best in the world. We need to take a leadership role to ensure that it's not used in a way that is contrary to our values. And by taking that stance and working with our allies through multilateral regimes, plurilateral regimes, bilateral relationships, we can bring others into that fold. And there are many countries around the world who do share our values and who are looking at things like facial recognition systems and saying that may be appropriate in an airport context. It is not appropriate when you're surveilling minority populations in Xinjiang or Tibet.
So you would say that the United States is uniquely positioned to lead in this space, and would you also say that it has national security implications for us?
Yes, Senator, I would.
Are additional congressional authorities necessary to expand and improve the efficacy of these initiatives?
Senator, there's several ways where we could bring in technical expertise into the Bureau of Industry and Security. One thing that comes to mind is a highly qualified experts program that we are seeking authority for. We could bring in experts on a temporary basis into the Bureau of Industry and Security who know these technologies well. That's an area where we'd welcome an opportunity to obtain additional authorization and resources. We'd also look at some provisions in our regulations like remote access and the opportunity to control access to data centers and other high-end advanced technology. That's an area where expansion of our authorities under ECRA would be helpful.
Well, thank you so much. There are more questions that I could ask, but maybe we can follow up later. But I'm grateful that the Biden-Harris administration understands that export controls can be an effective tool to combat authoritarian regimes. This is important in this moment, especially when you look at the geopolitical situation, the effort by some to advance a kind of authoritarian approach, both internationally and I would say domestically. So thank you for your work. As surveillance technology continues to improve, we must ensure American corporations are not making money from authoritarian regimes and human rights abusers. All of us have a stake in that project. Thank you very much.
Senator Warnock, Senator